Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. A short pause yesterday to honour the day for Blackout Tuesday, but we're now back in the hot seat. I've got three, possibly it's arguable that they could be some of the smartest minds in our community. We've got Auntie Lily is back, Joe Reichsfeld is back, and of course Zack Franklin. How are we doing, fellas?
Great. Doing good.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Let's go around the room, starting with Anthony first. We're going to go anti-clockwise. What you been up to in the last couple of months, mate, since we've last spoken to you?
Work. Running a bunch of tests, trying to gather new data. I mean, I think I've published a couple of articles just as information hits me and I'm able to access data. So really, I've just been in the lab.
Yeah.
No major releases of anything, more just studying right now.
Okay. And Zach, what have you been up to over the last few months?
Been up to a lot, man. I started basically a new life. I moved to Thailand. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Amazon because it gets annoying. So I've been doing a lot of high ticket drop shipping, and that's been nice. I've been waking up to a lot of orders for like $1,000 products. Using a lot of Google Shopping and get way deeper into Google. And that's been a lot of fun. I've also released something called AMZ 30. So I got really bored. I wrote up 30 of my favorite Amazon tips, and anyone can get access to that right now. So while there's a pandemic going on, it's free. And basically it's just an email every 2 or 3 days with a new tip and a blog post. Also working on some new software. Should be ready pretty soon. Do an announcement about that a little later. And I just keep having ideas for projects, and I'm starting to hit the point where I just don't have the bandwidth to take on anything more. I started like 7 new things over this break.
So you've been sitting on your ass and doing nothing effectively?
Yep, exactly.
No, you've got a lot going on. Well done, that's good. Joseph, it's been all but a week.
Yeah, right.
What have you been up to?
I have a bunch of new clients. Everybody's, getting ready for this to end. I work a lot with taking people off of Amazon and establishing their businesses off of Amazon and growing, their presence. So we're doing a lot of content, and let's see, I have a new workshop coming out, hopefully the end of this week, beginning of next week, about using KDP, Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. Right. As a way of bundling and helping move your products forward.
Excellent. So off Amazon traffic today, who wants to go first? Well, I know, Anthony, you've been doing a lot of stuff on TikTok. We briefly touched on that prior when you came onto the show a couple of months back. I think you was day 27, consistent. Where are you now? How many days in a row have you published now?
So I've actually taken a couple of days off yesterday, obviously. But even before that, there was like probably 2 or 3 days that it's been a little crazy. I drove the entire family from California to Alabama so we could wait out this whole quarantine mess with family. So there's a couple of days that I missed. But despite that, going strong since January at 35,000 followers. So that's pretty good.
How many?
35,000.
What, on TikTok?
What's your demographic?
All I talk about is
men like us, yeah?
These are mostly people who are interested in dropshipping, because that's I guess much more popular with a younger demographic. So I assume that a lot of them are younger, but the whole channel is talking nothing but business marketing. There's a bunch of Facebook questions I get. When people ask about, Amazon commerce in general.
Nice.
So 35,000 followers since you started, which is about 60 or 80 days ago, yeah?
Since January. So
since January.
It's been almost 6 months.
Yeah. So what do you think, if you was going to summarize, you got to 35,000, obviously all organic, etc. Would you put it down to your consistency of posting, which has got you there, or is there any other reasons why you think you're able to nail that?
I think there's a couple of reasons. I think consistency is definitely important. The other thing too is I think that the platform itself just is comfortable for me. I tried Instagram, and while I still attempt Instagram, a lot of Instagram has much more to do with like still images. But that's not a comfortable. Like I don't take pictures. I don't.
Yeah.
If I took a picture of what I was doing every day, it would literally be me in front of a computer.
Yeah.
But the platform is better for me because I can rant for 60 seconds about something, or I can show someone to do something in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of consistency and the fact that the platform just works. Yeah.
So basically, you've used it to inform people across the board on and off Amazon, commerce, drop shipping. What else have you done? Psychology of copywriting, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Have you managed to work out how to monetize TikTok yet?
So, all right. As a result of being, of doing that, I actually got invited to a small like TikTok influencer group that I've been a part of with a couple other guys. And actually one of them is currently showing me mapping out his exact system that he's done to monetize TikTok. I just haven't, I'm so busy, I haven't been able to do it yet. But this guy came in with 17,000 followers. And he created, it was actually genius. He created a free ebook on how to grow your TikTok following, like how he went from 0 to 17,000. I think he did that in like 30 or 45 days. And then he created a masterclass on it. And like he came in and all of us were asking, like, how are you making these sales? Because he's posting these screenshots, in like 30 days, he did like 6 or 8 grand just off of the masterclass. And this was like super, on the side stuff for him. And we were like, how? And he's like, and none of it's from cold traffic, right? So your videos don't actually drive the sales. They just, I guess, entertain or educate people. But he keeps going on lives. And right there on the live with maybe 10 to 15 people on it max, he'll close 1 to 2 sales each time. So he goes live every day. And I was like, that's genius. And I think that would work for any brand too. Like that was a powerful lesson for me to learn, right? It's not like the content gets people's attention, but the content doesn't close the sale. What closes the sale is when you can have a one-to-one conversation with them and they feel like they're brought into your world.
Yeah, and you can answer their questions right then and there, and seal the deal in the same conversation.
Yeah.
So that was a cool awakening for me.
And it's new too. That's the other nice part. You're early there. He's early there. It's not like Amazon. You have everybody selling a course.
I'm
going
to say
live shoppable video. I mean, that's coming to Instagram. Like we're going to see more opportunities for people to leverage other even pre-existing platforms with that kind of thing. And I really think there's a huge opportunity there because of that. Just like you said, you answer questions like it just kind of builds the trust level. Anyway,
they have that on Reddit now too. Reddit has a live channel. It was just Thursdays. I think they've expanded it, and you go on there and you take up time. And there's people that are going on there with just showing their dog sitting there. There's other people going on there playing guitar and raising money. There's people making money doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember some of the big Amazon toy brands were doing daily live videos and selling a new toy every day. And they were getting like 20,000, 30,000 people watching these. And when we were looking at the category, should we enter that, we saw these guys just absolutely crushing Amazon just from doing daily webinars with their toys.
Look at that little kid on YouTube.
I'm going to say some quick hellos, just that's all right. Juan says, hello, Danny McMillan, good to have you back listening to the Masters. Thanks for always putting together these calls. Mia, as we all know, Zack Franklin and Anthony Lee, well. Facebook user, Anthony Lee and a star. Who are you paying, Anthony, eh? Cybe, good afternoon, people. Super interesting topic. Tiffany's back. Hello, guys. Hello, gents. Ben Leonard says, bonjour. Barkus is still waiting for Anthony Lee to show off his dance skills on TikTok. Herb is saying hello to everyone. Howard Ty's tuned in here in the feed. Dimitri's here. Naz here. Kevin Dickinson's here. Ben Valance as well. Yael Kabeli. Christina Rosina. Luke Tomas is here as well. And then Howard's come up, well, look at all these gurus. Very kind of you to call them all gurus, Howard, but don't call me that. Facebook user says, Anthony, I've been hearing about all these TikTokers with 40 million followers making thousands per post. What's the logic here? Where do they monetize this from if they aren't ads?
When you have a follower base that big, so anytime you go live, TikTok actually has a built-in system where people can give you gifts, which translate to money. And but they take a huge chunk. They take like 63%. So it's not like you have the opportunity to make a ton until you get a ridiculous follower. I know a guy who only does videos on TikTok about TikTok, and he's got like 80,000 followers, which is a nice chunk. And just the other day, he was showing his numbers. He got a total donation amount of like 500 in a 20-minute live. But of course, TikTok took most of that, so they only got to keep like 193 of it. They still made almost $200 in 20 minutes off that live because of these.
Anthony, your mic's a little bit muffled. Is there anything over the mic port at all? It's just as you're speaking, it's like modulating the voice.
If anyone is looking for a good mic, Samsung Go mic, $50, and it's improved my sound a lot.
Yeah, California, that's the only problem.
There you go. That's a lot clearer, mate. That's a lot clearer. So, Zach, I know you wanted to talk Google shopping ads, right?
Yeah. So if anyone's watching this, just comment if you have done Google Shopping or if you're interested in it or where you're at with Google Ads. Because when I go to all the conferences, when I go to watching what people are talking about on Amazon, it's always Facebook, ClickFunnels, like ManyChat. No one is really talking about Google, and it blows my mind because a lot of us sell really boring products. I've had clients that are like, hey, we want to make Facebook ads for garbage bags, for trash bags, for like the most boring things you can imagine.
It's a terrible advertising platform.
Yeah, and it's not going to work. And so Google is great for these kind of boring products. Like I have like truck bumpers and stuff that are like very expensive products that are not going to work really well on Facebook because not everyone's looking to buy a $3,000 truck bumper. But when you can get in front of exactly the people that are looking for it, and that's what Google lets you do. So I want to make a couple recommendations. So one of them is for an app called Simprosys Feed for Google Shopping. And this is absolutely incredible because it sets up all of your conversion tracking. It sets up all of your feed and merchant feed, but with way more options. You can create your feed for Google, you can create your feed for Facebook dynamic content, and it's like $5 a month. It has videos that display literally everything you need to do, and it's much better than the stock kind of Shopify app for you to create your feed for Google. And I know a lot of people getting confused with what should they do for this feed. The other thing that's really confusing for a lot of people with Google Shopping is how do you control your keywords? How do you control, what's going on? Because if you guys haven't done Google Shopping will just show your products. And you can see the search terms, but you can't type in, only show me for this. You have a lot less control than you have on kind of the text ads. So the way that I've been using to make it so I can change what I'm bidding per keyword is you want to set up kind of an inverted funnel. So you want to look at the settings for Google for priority levels per campaign. This is really important. A lot of people don't do this, where you want to have kind of a generic catch-all campaign at the top with a high priority and a very low bid. Okay, this is able to catch all the shit traffic that's coming in that otherwise you're going to blow your budget really fast on Google Shopping. If you just do that, you're going to be better than 90% of people. Number two, a really good thing to do is to set up kind of your branded campaign. So these are people probably looking for you by brand or maybe a more specific type of keyword. So you can change the bidding up a little bit. And then finally, you can have it by SKU. So I've been setting this up, and this is the difference for me It's been making things really easy. Use shared budgets if you're not using shared budget feature already. But Google Shopping has just been absolutely killer for me. So yeah, are your prices too low? What you can do is you can just put it up and give it a shot, but leave your CPC very low. You don't want to be bidding like you're bidding on Amazon. I'm getting clicks for 5 cents. I'm getting clicks for 7 cents. I'm getting, plenty of 10-cent clicks on $1,000 items. I sold a $1,000 fridge this morning. And I looked at my ad spend and I spent $1 and I sold a $1,000 item.
Yeah.
So Google
Your return
Shop.
on spend's pretty cool there then.
Yeah, we always
Your ROS.
we always will spend the money on Google before we'll spend it on Amazon. It's just the audience size alone is, 94% of internet users worldwide versus 10%.
Yeah, especially if you're doing global, it's really good because Google Shopping is in some places that they don't have for Amazon.
Right.
Another thing you want to definitely make sure you do is put some kind of promotion, because the way Google Shopping works is it has like compare prices, and that's when it shows you your price, your shipping price, the total price, but it has this area for promotions, and no one sets this up, so everyone just says free shipping across the board. But if you have something like I'm giving away a free wine decanter with the fridge, and so that increases my CTR like gangbusters. So make sure you're using every feature of Google Shopping that you're basically able to. Click through everything on Merchant Center. Even if you don't want to do paid ads, you can at least enroll your stuff in the free clicks, which is something they started doing. And I'm getting about 30 to 40 free clicks a day. I have a couple thousand products online though.
That's pretty good.
Most Amazon sellers are not going to go to Google having thousands of items per day, but that's something you can look at.
When are we getting the masterclass?
I thought about that actually because I need to write a guide for all of my VAs, because I'm actually just building a kind of factory to set up just store after store after store. They have 2 weeks to make a new store, call the suppliers, do the whole thing for me. And the last part of that puzzle was kind of AdWords. And so when I make the thing for my VAs, I'll make it for kind of everybody. I was going to do something like that a couple weeks ago, but I've been busy.
Yeah. Zack, did you say you're drop shipping a lot through the stores?
Yeah.
Nice.
What's the lead time?
So these are all drop shipping products from America with America suppliers. So I've actually been staying up at night and calling America, and that's been kind of a shift because a lot of people in America have to call China late at night.
And especially right now with all these businesses that are closed, all these retailers and all these stores are sitting on their product and it's not moving. Now's a really good time to establish the relationships with people that otherwise would have nothing to do with drop shipping or with you as a seller. Mm-hmm. They're looking for the business now too. I know
exactly the point.
Pick up these small ball sellers now because they want their machines running.
They need stuff moving, and I'm happy to help them out with it. So far I have about 50 suppliers because I actually need to call each one, have my staff fill out all the paperwork and send it back. Then they send us a list of all their items, and then we have to painstakingly go and upload thousands of fucking products. But it works out. It's been a fun little break, and hoping this month I can scale it up. It's been going good.
I did my first $1 million in e-commerce drop shipping, local stuff. Back in a long time ago, but
mm-hmm.
I would never drop ship from another country. I want to go there and talk to people, and see what they're sending. I don't like that.
If I was in America, I'd be flying to the frickin' suppliers and meeting with them and working out.
And you're their savior right now. That's what people don't understand. When this whole thing started, it's like, man, I'd be on the phone. Look out the window. There's opportunity everywhere, all over the world right now. Because so many so many businesses are getting crushed.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I've got some data, well, say data, but one of the things that we did for the Branded by Women conference, and we only had a 2.5 week lead time, we engaged influencers both on Instagram and TikTok. But this is a story of constant pivoting until we found the formula right near the end. Long and short of it, what happened is our idea was we was going to give the upgraded passes away to these influencers, to their audience. So we really refined a list. Giselle worked on the project. She'd done about 80 hours compiling a big list, 81 or 82 influencers on Instagram, ranging from about 10,000 to 25 to 30,000 followers, because we're looking at micro influencers. And the engagement rate of making that offer to them to give away as a competition was absolutely useless. I think we've got one person to agree. The rest just said no. What we worked out was, what is in it for them? It's nothing. Normally you give away a product to them to wear or them to use or them to keep. So therefore it becomes beneficial to the influencer. So when someone says to you, work with micro influencers, send them some free shit, that's good. But giving them free shit that's not for them but for their audience doesn't necessarily work.
It does when you talk them into raffling it off to their audience. Then it's worth
it. This is the thing, no one was interested, or everyone is like, pay me, where's the money, show me the money, right? So the next step that we went round to do was we spoke to some of them about speaking at the conference, which we did. 2 of them we picked up very good at what they did. Some were trying to angle at speaking at the conference, but they wasn't the right fit for it. So the follow-up that we did is we went and pitched them and said, look, we'll give you $50 per post, right? A lot of them were coming back. Like there's some of them with like 7,500, 10,000 wanted $700 for a post. And I'm like, look, I could get 1 million eyeballs on Facebook ads with that. Wouldn't be super targeted, of course. What can you do? And obviously they kind of didn't follow through. But the sweet spot I found was giving them $50 to $75, depending on what was negotiated, plus an affiliate deal, a link for giving them a percentage of the ticket. So my thing was, when Giselle was working on this, but then it got bumped up to me for the final part of the negotiations, it's like, if you think your audience is as good as you think they are, right, then you have no problem having this affiliate link and make a shit ton of money in comparison, right? Because your audience is so good. And what I've learned about the micro influences thing is that it's super inflated. People are way over the top. They're seeing it as a way of making money, but they have got no measurement or attempts to measure. They will take your money and the rest is your problem. They don't want to give you necessarily data or case studies or anything else. They set their price, which is fair enough, right? But they're setting their fee, but it's way high for the size of their audience. And some of them have got like managers, right? So I'm speaking to these managers who are looking after these influencers.
It's really just another Gmail account. They're like running you.
Yeah, and they obviously they look after about 800 of them. But it's very, very interesting in seeing is that this whole influencer culture is like, I'm looking at this and there are some of the people saying, I want to speak at the conference, but some of these people are nowhere near as successful as any of the women at the conference. So it defeated the object. I had to say no because we've got a level, do you know what I mean, to it. And it's very interesting in a sense of trying to negotiate with the managers and that, and they're like, no, we'll take the full payment up. So, and I'm like, look, if you think your audience is that great, meet me halfway. I'll do part payment and an affiliate link for you, and then you should kill it and make far more money. But none of them went for it. So in the end, we, in terms of the ones who negotiated to blow up their prices, but we managed to do deals with about 7 or 8 influencers at $50 a post. But what I would say, and bear in mind, it's only a 2.5 week process. My learnings from that is influencers are great in any sense, but I don't think we were able to nail it right. you need a much longer lead time than the long lead time that we had. And I think it's just a branding exercise, because the amount of clicks that you get from these posts is super minimal. So if you're a big brand, it's worth spending this money and repetitive and keep selling in the product over and over again. But if you're doing a one-off thing or once yearly thing, I don't think it's an advisable investment. But we've got to learn.
That's how we launch a lot of times. I mean, we'll use influencers to every day of a launch to, you know, send their implied trust traffic. And what we do, you know, they're like waiters, you know, they all lie about what they really can do or what they make. So, you know, we go to them and first thing we ask them is, what's your conversion rate? They're supposed to know their audience. They should be able to tell you what the best, you know, the best way to reach their audience is. So we'll ask them, you know, what's your conversion rate? And they'll give us a number. And, you know, we always join their group first, interact with them first as a group member and participate. Then you get if they give you a price, you get their member price, not the cold call price. And so we'll ask them, you know, what their conversion rate is. And then
it's amazing how the price drops 90% once you ask that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the mom bloggers. They'll charge a guy $1,000 for a shout out. They'll give a woman a free guest post.
Yeah.
I see that all the time. It's ridiculous. But what we do with the influencers is, you know, it's a little harder now that Amazon changed their affiliate, you know, payouts. But so we'll work a deal with them where they get their paid on the affiliate, and if they beat their quoted conversion rate, we'll double whatever their affiliate amount was. And the good ones, they know they can do that. They jump all over that stuff. They love that. That works for us. And the other part is, before Facebook, when we all used forums, I was real heavy into auto parts. You know, Zach, you mentioned car bumpers. We'd give a set of headers to like the Jeep Club here for them to raffle off. So a set of headers that cost us $12 to make that we sold for $250, they'd raffle off for $2,500 at some cookout or whatever that they were doing, and that worked wonders for us. We don't want to give money. I'd rather give product and tell them, raffle it off to your users. You can get 10 times the amount of money out of that than I'm certainly going to give you. I'm not going to give somebody $750 for a shout out. It's not worth it. It goes away. Instagram goes away too fast.
But you know what I like about it is that, you know, you get what you negotiate, right? So they know their value or their perceived value. So they're saying, this is what it's going to cost you. And they won't move on that. And I respect that, because you're not selling yourself short. But I just think with the size of the audience, if they had some data or they were on the receiving end, they would have understood this is not scalable. But it might be good for larger brands who, you know, $750 means nothing to them. And they're worth having a punt. Does that make sense? They might have a budget of like, there's a MicroInfluencers budget. There's 40 grand.
Yeah, they don't want to spend that money either, though. I mean,
no one does.
At the end of the day, it's return on investment. You know, they'll do it a few times, but at the end of that quarter, they're looking at what they spent and what they got out of it. And if it doesn't wash, it doesn't wash. Especially when you have these micro-influencers that are obviously more involved with their groups, and they're actually driving real people to your site, not fake, followers.
Which you need to measure with these, especially if you're using influencer platforms. You should do a test, drive them to your site first with Google Analytics, and see how many of them stay on your website for more than 0 seconds.
Exactly.
Them are also paying fake, bot traffic, and it's rampant in the influencer industry. The number one use I found for influencer content is not driving that initial content, but in my remarketing ads that I'm going to use. So after they go to my website every day, the first day they see this product review on a website. Second day they see some influencer using like the headphone or something else. The third day they see something else. So you're not trying to pay the influencer for a one-time thing. You're trying to just use that for your remarketing campaigns, because that's where I've seen it really pay off.
Yeah,
I've never gotten influencer marketing to work on the front end, and that is because influencer marketing was basically created as a way to arbitrage traffic, where you're getting, if you're paying this much for ads normally, you used to be able to pay this much to influencers. Now the calculus has shifted where now influencers want this much and the actual traffic cost is very cheap. So I found a lot of the value in influencer marketing one-time shout outs to be almost non-existent.
Go to microworkers.com. They have a public list of all their current jobs that have been ordered, and look through them. It's amazing what you see. And that's exactly what you see.
Same with MTurk, click on this link, add to cart.
And it's right there too. I see it with Amazon listings. It's like, search this term on Amazon. Here's my ASIN.
Yep.
I think what's got to be clear here is that we're unique, is whereas most people are offering products or some sort of services or something, we're offering a summit with 2 weeks lead time. So the dynamics change to the results that you're going to get. But I just thought it'd be an interesting share, because we literally poured gasoline for that event. We went down every channel. We've done Facebook ads, done what else did we do? We've done Facebook ads, we've done YouTube ads, we've done display network. We did the influence marketing, we did email marketing, we've done the affiliate marketing, we did UK national PR, and we also did a press release distribution as well.
And that's you're offering them more than they're really being able to offer you. You're offering them, a chance to build their audience, and for some of them that get to speak or get to go, it's a lot of opportunity. It's weird what people put value in.
Well, it's definitely interesting in terms of like what channels work, what don't. Like that's why I always say to people, just throw gasoline on everything, and then see what happens. And then you got to spend some money. So now I know that I won't say which channels they are. So the next time we do Branded by Women conference, we're going to have 2 channels. The rest I'll scrap. But now I found out by spending a shit ton of money to find out what works, what doesn't work. And I'm happy to do that, because I'd rather clear that up and go, right, okay. And I say this to everyone, is that people like, when, some people might go, well, my ads on Amazon are not working. Maybe that's not your channel. You've got to keep experimenting with every single channel until you find the one that works. And when it does, you double down. I've said this on the podcast before. It wasn't until we launched the podcast, like after 6-7 attempts to grow the audience, when we got there, it was like it took off like a rocket ship. It was the very last component to be added, which started as what would they call them, like webinars. And the webinars, you built a list. From the list, we sent them to the YouTube channel. From the YouTube channel, we then built the blog, and then from the blog, we then decided to do a podcast right at the end, after months and months and months and months, and then it just took off like a rocket ship. So I always say to people, experiment with as many channels as possible. 99% of them will probably not work or be very ineffective, and the one that does, you double down. If none of them work, you haven't got a business. Simple as that.
You got to be able to find your audience.
Yeah, but that can take time and it costs money, but it's worth doing.
It does.
Yeah, but I think some people get concerned about, they see that money as failure or waste. I see it as a good investment, because you're trying to speed up the process to get there as fast as possible. What works, what doesn't. I'd rather spend a bit more and get there quicker than draw out the whole process, Yeah.
But then also on the next project, now you also have this knowledge of these other channels. They might not have worked for what you're working on this time, but next time, you might say, wait a second, I remember this. It worked. Yeah. It would have worked better that way.
Well, what I can do is I can extrapolate definitely better for the agency. YouTube, I know got some really good ideas, but how much do you think our cost per lead was on YouTube for Branded by Women? £10 a lead, which is a sign up, which is non-scalable, but you have to try those channels. And £10 isn't a bad yield. It's just the wrong product, meaning a free ticket.
Right.
If that's a service, or like Zach selling something for £1,000, £10 per acquisition, you spend that money all day long, right? but you have to find that out and you have to experiment to get it down. So £10 a lead isn't bad, but it's not for a free ticket. It's not good, but it's good if you're selling something over £500 and whatever your conversion rate is, it's a good investment.
Well, since I think a lot of people also fall into this, we saw this comment about I'm selling a low priced product. How can I make external traffic work? A lot of the times when you're selling this kind of a free ticket or something else, you need to find something additional to add. Where, if you sold not just a recording of it, but maybe some kind of like a t-shirt or a poster, or some kind of actual good along with the ticket, you could have maybe made it workable. So if you are selling stuff and it's not initially workable, the profit margins, find a way to add an upsell or sell a subscription or sell someone else's product. You don't even have to sell your own stuff. You can sell everyone else's product into kind of bundles. And this way you can make things that are not really workable into something that is workable. Especially if maybe you're selling something very low cost, but maybe people buy multiples. Try selling the 4-pack or the 5-pack or something and see what you can do. Get really creative about how do I turn this offer that's like a $10 thing into, a $50 thing.
Yeah,
so that way you can do it.
Unfortunately, the Amazon mindset is don't build value, give value through couponing and rebates, which is that's just the drain. It makes no sense to me. I'm here to make money and build sales, not give them away.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Thoughts? You test loads of channels, don't you? And you're like me, you don't give a shit about failure because you learn from it. So you test loads of different things. And 90%, I'd say, of experiments just don't work. But you've got to keep going, I think. And what people get scared
no one tells you that at the beginning. They're not like,
oh, no, they're full of shit. 90%. And if you guess stuff, like this is why I don't like things when someone says, oh, I've got this funnel, like it's going to fucking work on everything. Bullshit.
Right.
That funnel will work on one thing and you build your audience around the new version of the funnel and you'll get your conversion rates. Like there's no such thing as this one funnel is going to make you millions and it works for everyone. It doesn't work like that. Every source of traffic is different. There's too many dynamics, too many different things going on for that to ever happen. And I think that's the thing, is perseverance. Enjoy the process. It's like if you were to guess the outcome 9 times out of 10 of something that's measured properly, you're probably wrong 50 to 75% of the time. You're going to assume stuff and then the results will be different. Agreed, Anthony? And that's how you get some of the surprises of,
Yeah, no, I've actually spoken on that because everything you just said is applicable to for example, product selection. A lot of gurus like to say, I'll teach you how to find a winning product. And it's like, guessing what product will become a trend on Amazon is no different than trying to guess the market in stocks. And it's impossible. The people who do it typically got lucky, or they have a skill that maybe less than 1% of people on the planet have. So, and the same thing with a funnel, right? Like these things don't work for everybody. So essentially it all comes down to mitigating risks and then persevering until you find the thing that works for you, the audience that works with you, your brand image, etc. And I think those are the steps to building any business, right? Like
there's no one size fits all solution for anything.
No.
And unfortunately that's when you have, 5,000 people sitting at your conference and, this is how we source. And, I'm going to use my teacup as the example. And now next week, there's going to be 1 million people selling teacups on Amazon. It makes no sense. I just don't get it. They zig, I zag. It's the last thing I do is the same thing.
There's some benefit to that, though. The fact that people are teaching these methods allows the market to zig so that you know what direction to go in, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we just gotta, as educators, we just gotta teach people the fundamentals. Like these are the steps on how to fish, and then you have to find the right hole in the right pond.
You have to be brilliant at the basics, or you can't get any of the other stuff. You have to master the basics, and that's where a lot of where I see a lot of people just blow it. You see the back ends of people's listings all the time. It's like, come on, really? After all these years, it's just still shit. You know, 80% of the listings that I see are just, and I know, like in Helium 10 and in some of these other, programs, they teach that stuff, but people are just so focused, It's like the guy who says, now this is black hat. You might lose your account over this. They don't hear that. They just hear quick fix.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the least path of resistance. Why wouldn't you? It's like if you can get there faster. I understand that mentality, but that doesn't work.
About it.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are not thinking about longevity.
They're looking over your shoulder the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about today's results, not what's going to happen in impact tomorrow. And I think that's important, is to treat everything like that. Play for the long term. Play for legacy, not just early short-term money.
I can kind of disagree a little bit. If you can make a ton of
this
money,
is a show. Disagree. Come on.
If you can make tons of money in a week or two by finding some exploit or something, that's going to give you a lot more money and firepower to keep building things once that one thing is shut down.
Good point. But if you have to keep doing that, it's that like load it up.
This small amount of money constantly. It's going to impact you. You can't turn the money over as fast. You can't do a lot of things. I come from affiliate marketing, and in affiliate marketing, people would always take $100,000 today over, $100,000 a year from now, because you can use that money and build bigger things. You don't always want to be thinking and building things, thinking I need to maintain this for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, a lifetime. You want to say like, okay, I need to get in, make a couple $100K or something, get out, use that money, build more things. And
but don't 95% of affiliate marketers fail? It's like the top 5% that really make it, don't they? Because they're not all like,
isn't that every business though? Isn't that like
if they're as talented as you, Zach, you're talented at what you do, right? So you can recreate this. Being a programmer, being a marketer, having the experience you do, you can do the boom and bust cycles knowing there's another one around the corner because you've got the touch for it. That doesn't mean every person on the street can just go, oh, don't worry, let's make a shit ton of cash today, and then we'll make it again in the future.
I'm talking to everybody on the street. I'm talking to people that know what they're doing. And, at that level, that's what people are thinking. They're not thinking, oh, hey, here's this thing that can make a lot of money immediately. I'm not going to use it. They're going to say, okay, if this goes wrong, what do I do about it? So if my Facebook account goes down because I did this, but I made a lot of money, how can I get another business manager? How can I get another thing? If my Amazon account gets shut down, what do I do about that? And
it depends on who you're working with and what their goals are.
It's risk and reward, right? Some people are willing to go into the grey, into the black area in terms of black hat, grey hat. It depends your tolerance for risk. Do you want something steady? Or do you want to always live is that you're standing on the burning platform and at some point it collapses underneath you, but you've got a shit ton of cash, and then you stand on the next burning platform?
I mean, it doesn't always end up bad for a lot of people. For example, think about the thing where you used to be able on Amazon and external promotions to put in this little hack, change your order from a 1 to a 2 or more and save 10%. That's considered maybe an exploit, but it made lots of money until Amazon shut that down.
Yeah, well, all their rules, all their black hat stuff, all started as perfectly okay,
Yep.
And then people abuse it and take advantage of it, and that's what sours it.
Like Black Hat for Amazon is about providing a better experience for your customer, which is absolutely bizarre because Black Hat in affiliate marketing is like, how do I secretly rebill like 1 million people for a product they never got? And so like Black Hat on Amazon is just a little bit different because there's Black Hat and then there's illegal, and you want to be in between those two areas because you don't want to break the law because then you really get in trouble, but you want to push the line or be right on the line for TOS.
I think the problem is that a lot of people conflate morality with these color hats. And it's like, just because Amazon says you can't do it doesn't mean you're scum of the earth, right? Like,
exactly.
Like you said, if it provides my customer with a better experience, why wouldn't I do it? So,
right. You got, rules are there for people that lack common sense and to keep people, honest, but you have to push the boundaries. That's what makes everything different. The whole inserts and warranties and all that stuff. I've been doing that for 10 years while all these people are like, oh, that's against TOS. Bullshit it is.
Look at every big box store in the world. They are all doing all of the tactics that are considered black hat on Amazon. And that's where you can really learn a lot, is by looking at these retailers that are actually been doing all this stuff, and it's not illegal. So look at them and learn a lot of the tactics because they work.
I think what Danny's point of view was, it's not necessarily that every tactic you have to employ has to be long-term, right? Not everybody's out there to build like a legacy brand. Mm-hmm. You can absolutely use exploits, which is to kind of to Joe, who was talking about rebates a second ago and was saying, I don't understand it. That is a tactic to get visibility faster through rank. But I think to Danny's point, though, what he was saying is if all you use is these tactics, eventually your luck runs out, right? Because you're not building a foundation of anything. So, and take it from a guy that used to run a blast service. Like, I've seen this play out, right? If literally the only way you get visibility is by giving away product for free, eventually it's not profitable anymore. So I think that was his point.
Yeah. No, it is that, but I like the disagreement, because the whole point, this isn't the Danny show. This is the show for everyone to have their point of view. And like, I think what it comes down to is putting your head on the pillow at night. If you feel good about your business, if you're willing, like, I'm steady wins the race. I'd rather have multiple business, diversified income, and it all be steady, done legit, done the right way. That's just me, right? I'm not going to be the richest man in the graveyard by any stretch of the imagination. And there are going to be people like affiliates who will go out there and smash it. And that's fine. That's their thing. But like Anthony said, I think what happens, unless they're as talented as you, Zach, a lot of people might see that happen once. Amount of times we've seen people with an Amazon business hit 7 figures, done the whole black hat thing, got taken out overnight. They didn't recover because they weren't able to pick up 15 grand burner accounts. They didn't have the connections to keep the ball in play. Does that make sense? They were like literally looking at the game overnight, hated Amazon, whatever, and then they'd spoil everything that they've built. But it's different if you can do this and create a cyclical pattern and keep coming back.
But if you're a real marketer, you're not going to let an account ban stop you. I've been banned on every single platform you can imagine, and a lot that you don't even know about, and I keep going.
I have a next client that got banned for life from Amazon in 2009. In 2011, his dog became the top-selling electronics seller on Amazon. His dog is the treasurer of his corporation, and his dog just got banned for life in the last couple months.
Well, then it's his cat's turn. You keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Because he will. I mean, he will. And it's funny, but it's amazing.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. Don't let automated bans. Like, I get banned from MailChimp like the second I sign up, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I make an account on Drip and I keep going. I got banned from Facebook. I went to Facebook office. I got unbanned. Yeah,
it's one thing. It's one thing, to do exploits or strategies, whatever words against the platform. It's another thing when you're ruining somebody else. That's my opinion. I mean,
so that right there is where Chinese draw the line for the black hat. Is, am I fucking someone else's business? Or they don't think anything about going against the platform, and I mean, a lot of people don't.
No, I'm of the same mind, right? Like, as long as you're providing value, then in my book, do you. But the moment you start,
it's your business,
taking advantage of other people, this is when I have a problem.
The line, yeah. It's your business, I mean, Amazon has their little fucking rules about mailing lists and all that stuff. Screw that, I mean, You're in business to build a sustainable business, whether it's long term or not, depending on your strategies, whatever. But I just, Amazon has their TOS rules. Fine, I'll fly within their rules on their platform. I drive my own traffic. I have their name on my mailing list long before they get to Amazon. Fuck you, Amazon. I don't play that game.
And it's just funny how marketing relies more and more on all of these external platforms to where this is just more and more of an issue. Is how the big game over the last 2 or 3 years has shifted now to how do we stay on all these platforms? How do we not get our merchant account banned? How do we not get our Amazon account banned? How do we not get Facebook banned? People are spending like 80% more of their mental bandwidth on this stuff than they used to be doing.
Yes, yeah. I started crazy. I already had a website and was already on other platforms long before I started selling full time on Amazon. So Amazon has always been a channel to me. It was never where I started. And it's hard. I mean, it's easy to get on Amazon. They give you the initial sale. There's so much sales. You're not thinking long term or the value of the list because you're just getting slammed because of volume. But then when it goes poof, what do you have? You have your inventory. If you're not smart about it, all you have is your inventory, and it's easy to overlook that. I mean, I don't do rebates. I don't do giveaways. That's me. I'm cheap. It doesn't make them wrong. It's just for every paid strategy, there's other strategies as well. That's the whole thing. It's not.
I look at rebates and giveaways like marketing spend. They're a marketing expense. Same like Facebook ads.
They have their time and place. Definitely. I mean, I agree with that 100%. Every time, in every situation, on every product is not the time. There's other ways. There's just other ways to do it.
Always got to be smart about it. When you have like 3,000 products, you don't need to promote every single product. And I walk into a lot of Chinese companies where that's what they're doing. They're promoting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 products. And I'm like, all right, these 20-15% are making you money and you're losing money on these. So why don't we make you a ton of money and just drop the bids on everything else?
Yeah, and you're going to have your lost leaders. You're going to have your sacrifices. I mean, that's part of doing business.
Lost leaders doesn't work too well on Amazon because they can just click other stuff.
It's just, I mean,
not that loyalty.
When I first started in e-commerce, you could still put your URL in your listing on Amazon and on eBay. And I had really expensive furniture and art and stuff, and it wouldn't sell on Amazon, but I drove traffic. I
still see people doing this on Lazada and Shopee and some of these other platforms because I'm now in Bangkok, so I've been using like Lazada to buy stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is not allowed on Amazon. This is crazy. This is crazy. They're putting their URL right there.
It's a great way of driving traffic. You can't beat the marketing power of a company like Amazon. Even in 1999 and 2001, when I was doing that stuff, it was still, you couldn't beat the marketing that you could get with your money, or that Amazon gives you for free. You put a product on Amazon. I've put vendor products on Amazon before, and as I'm finishing the listing and starting the next one, I'm seeing a remarketing ad coming up on another screen already. It's like, holy crap. I mean, people don't realize the little things that Amazon does, the benefits that you get out of those kinds of platforms. Your Google shopping ads are up,
Yeah, for Amazon was spending billions of dollars on Google Shopping for a long time. I don't think they're spending that money now because now they're like, you guys can do it.
Yep.
Or that's where they're trying to go with their offsite remarketing, which sucks. Like if you drop the bid, it's good, but every other display marketing tool in the world is going to let you set whitelist and blacklist for traffic so that you can stop these kind of offending ad placements. Amazon doesn't give it to you, and they're just stealing your money. Like you're just setting it on fire without that capability.
Coming up to the hour now, guys. Any takeaways from this? What's the takeaway? Obviously, Joe says Amazon shit and he hates them. And he expresses
Everyone that spends enough time on Amazon thinks that way.
Zach says, go and blow up loads of accounts. Don't worry, you'll get another one.
I don't disagree with either of those sentiments.
No, I'm joking. I'm just being ironic. I think it's been a good conversation. Not everyone agrees with everything, which I love, because the whole point is to have opposing views. Everyone has different ways of doing things, but yeah, definitely think there's been some interesting perspectives today on stuff. Zach, name a couple of channels that people should go and look at in terms of marketing. Do you think off the top of your head, because you've got like hundreds, aren't you? They're like,
well, definitely it depends on what they're doing already when it comes to like, you need to have your website, you need to focus on email marketing. It's still good. Everyone wants to fancy chatbots, but email marketing fucking kills it. Push ads are in a weird place where they're getting super regulated by Google now. Bing is also heavily ignored, and you can just import your campaigns from Google. Like they know that they're going to be second place, so they just let you import everything, which is amazing.
Even grandmas, Bing is great for that.
Yeah, Bing is amazing for all of your, because it's the default browser when you get a computer, and so you're getting only people that don't know how to download Chrome or how to do their other stuff, and these people like to spend money.
Our parents.
They don't. Yeah, they're our parents. They just like, okay, oh, this product is recommended by Google, I'm gonna click.
And they're still on AOL.
Yeah, I still get orders from people with AOL fucking email addresses, which is crazy to me. So
I have a couple of their clients that are on AOL that have AOL email addresses.
Yeah, I see tons of people that want to brand their products like for them, like, oh, younger, millennial, hip style. But no, like if you're selling supplements, your main demographic is like 45-year-old and up successful women. That's like the demographic. So you don't want to brand it like super edgy. Think about who's actually using your products. And as far as channels, start trying everything, but get a couple down right. Google is one of the ones you need to do well. Bing is one of the ones you need to do well. Everyone like wants to do YouTube. Just do a live YouTube or something. Find ways to do YouTube without necessarily all of the content creation. And one thing that Google lets you do very easily is to have ads on YouTube, have ads on Gmail, have ads on every website ever with their display network.
YouTube is testing regular search results in the YouTube results now.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, that just started, I think, this last week.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and also look at just new ways to use all the platforms. I guarantee there's still a ton of ways. One thing I like to do with display ads and Google is actually just to use their custom intent and custom affinity audience. So for example, if I was Danny promoting the conference, I would want to target everyone that went to a similar conference in the last 90 days, everyone that went to a page for these sort of things. Or I'm not a female entrepreneur. I don't know exactly what websites they're going to, but he could take a list of like 50, 100, 1,000 of these sites, put it in, and you would have a really targeted, really great audience. If I wanted to target Amazon sellers, I can target every person that went to Helium 10, Jungle Scout, sellercentral.amazon.com. And based on that, I can target them with display ads for really, really cheap. And so
just thinking of the industry now, you're going to have all these these software companies running ads now. We're going to be swamped. Look, Anthony's shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so you can have some really creative ways to do your targeting. And let me see, just one other point I wanted to get across with this is that your ad is never separated from the traffic you're driving it, right? Like the traffic you're driving and the ad work together. So you want to really focus on both parts of that, right? You really want to focus on, who you're sending to your site, because that's going to impact your conversion rate. That's going to impact your CTR and everything else. So focus on your traffic first, and then you can fix everything else. And nothing you do is going to work like immediately. Like everything I do, like I set it up and then I'm like, wow, that fucking sucks. And then I spend like another
cost the leads like $1,000, and you get it down.
I burn a ton of money, and then I like see, oh, maybe I should fix this, and it gets a little better. I should fix this, it gets a little better. Don't expect every single tactic you do to just work immediately. Like we were saying earlier, tons of stuff doesn't work out, but find intelligent ways so that you aren't burning money on every test.
And you got to learn from what doesn't work. There's a lesson in every of it.
Exactly. So, and the thing is, not only do you got to learn from it, it's like, if you fail, don't take it personally. It was just like, I tried that. I just found out one way it doesn't work. Let's go on to the next. Do you know what I mean? Don't let it absorb you. Just go to the next channel, because eventually you'll land away. It's about perseverance, really.
But pick 2 or 3 things and stick with them for a couple of months, because if you're working with something with Google and you think it doesn't work, you did not figure out Google. Like, there are enough ways on Google or Amazon to make a product work that if you're just skipping around constantly, you're not digging around too much. So what I like to do, because I love to test everything and play around with everything, I like to set 2 or 3 things for like, okay, this is what I'm going to look at for the next 3-4 months. And even if I'm losing money initially, I don't immediately cut it and go to another platform. I'm going to play around until it does work.
Yeah, makes sense. Anthony?
I'm trying to make this worthwhile. I'll give everybody a technique real quick. Instead of like a platform to play with, try this out. So I'm trying this out. So for those of you who run ManyChat or Messenger ads, go to your Facebook page, go to your catalog manager, create a catalog for your product. Put your Amazon super URLs as the links to those catalog products. Connect your catalog to your Instagram, and then get Instagram shoppable posts turned on. And then when you run your rebate campaigns through Messenger, instead of giving them the Amazon URL, send them to the Instagram post. And then tell them to click on the post and then go to the product from there. The super URL and an account as the first traffic from external source.
So
cool.
If that's an awesome tip, by the way, but if they're on Instagram and they hit the normal super URL, is that just going to open like the Amazon screen on their phone, like for them to log in?
It very well might. The only problem is you can't use something like Pixelfy there, because Pixelfy masks the refer. You want the refer to be seen. So I mean, it might be clunky, but at very least that sale came through and it's legitimately from Instagram at that point. And it's not a paid advertising link, like that's a organic link. So
Joe, anything you want to add before we go?
Yeah, something that I've been talking to people about recently is stealing your competitors' audience. You know, if everybody goes to a teeth whitener site right now and they abandon the cart, put something in your cart, take it out of your cart, leave, whatever, go to Facebook, press Control-R, wait 5 minutes, and you're going to have competitors' teeth whitening ads in your Facebook feed. And it's remarketing. Facebook, people don't go to Facebook to buy, but if you're remarketing on Facebook, these people have already made the effort to look at this stuff. They're already in that process of wanting to buy. So what works better on Facebook as opposed to the cold ad is remarketing ads, and you need to start with a lookalike audience. If you have enough people to create a lookalike audience of your buyers, then you target that audience for conversions, add to cart abandonment, signing up for emails, that stuff. So that's you coming up in their feed next time they go to a site like that and they abandon it. That works better than just regular Facebook cold ads. Works much better.
A tip from me, and people often forget that, is always make sure that when you're running any kind of ads, especially like with Facebook ads as well, because you might be dialing down your cost per click and you might be starting to get a good yield, but look at the time on site. So when you go into your Google Ads, break that down and compare that to your SEO traffic and the other channels. So you might have really good in terms of lands on the page, etc. But then what you might find is that you dialed it down. The traffic that you get in isn't engaged traffic. It's just cheaper traffic. So you might have an average time on site or page for about 3 minutes, but then your Facebook ads might be like 7 seconds. But not everyone takes a look into that because they're too busy dialing down elsewhere. Go on.
So yeah, if you want to get crazy about this, you can actually use Google Tag Manager to set up events on a timer. And so you can set it up so you have different events for each of your pixels. So like after 30 seconds, it will ping, this event for the pixel to fire. After 60 seconds, other one for it to fire. And that way, when you're doing your retargeting, you don't actually want to retarget people that spent 1 second on your website and clicked away. That's also burning money. So you want to retarget people that actually spent 30 seconds and a minute on your site, because then you're not wasting money on this retargeting and they actually like engaged with you. So there are some easy ways to set this up with Google Tag Manager. If you're not using Tag Manager, start doing it, because there's a lot of really crazy shit you can do that you can't do normally.
Action. I mean, people that just drop a pixel on their site and don't pixel the button pushes, and all that other stuff. You're wasting information. You're wasting data.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is to actually pixel the button clicks, and those are really easy to do with basic JavaScript. And I'm sure there are tons of software that do it. I just do it with the JavaScript. And you can also do it when people scroll down. So you can have it like if people scroll down,
15%, it fires. And then you go. That's what I was about to say. Exactly the same as you, because you have a landing page. You've got the traffic isn't going anywhere else. So it's not like the average amount of pages this person visits on the site, because it's one landing page. So it's important not only the time, but also the scroll length as well. So you can see if they're actually going up and down. It's not just a bot, but there's movement of people going and scrolling and reading and engaging.
You have to learn how to use those features on the sites. I mean, Google, like what Zach said, if you're not making money on Google, you're doing something wrong. You haven't been, you just don't know how to use it, or you're not going about it right, or you just haven't given it enough time. They have that shit down to a science, and it's a time and experience or a knowledge thing, one or the other, or just an application thing. You're not using it right.
And heat maps as well can play a pivotal role. If you've got enough data, if you've got the scroll data and you're still not converting, check your heat maps, because you might need to move content around on the page to where the customer is spending their most time, or look and understand why the heat map's there, or where they're picked up and where they're congregated and why, and then try and spin out from there what the optimization needs to be. Anyway, that was a quick. We've got a couple of minutes. Why don't we sign off 13, 14 minutes ago? Should we actually sign off? Because I think we'll just give people a shit ton of information right at the end there as well. Who's in? Yeah? Anthony, best way to get hold of you. Turn your mic
on. At Anthony Lee 991. That's on TikTok. That's on Instagram. Twitter, though I don't really do a lot there. Or just email me, Anthony at Signalytics.ai.
Excellent. Cy B just says, this is fucking awesome shit, guys. Cy, can I ask you to refrain from swearing, please? This is a child-friendly show. Zach, how can I get hold of you?
Let me see. There are a lot of ways. Just email Zach at amz30.com. So after I do some of these things, I get a lot of emails that are just like, hi, and I have no information or nothing to go off. So if you're going to message me, give me a short intro of what are you at with your business and what are you looking for. That'll help a lot, because if I get an email that's just hi, I ignore it. So make sure to actually just give me an introduction. Other stuff, I do have a WeChat group if you're doing more than $100,000 a month. And there's also Panda Leap, so panda-leap.com if you need Amazon reviews. AMZ30 if you want Amazon tips, and I'm coming out with some new stuff soon.
Sounds good. So again, very quiet in your business at the moment. Joseph, what's the best way they can get hold of you?
Get a hold of me on my website, e-commerce ecom-optimizer.com, or Facebook, Ecom Optimizer, YouTube, same thing, Ecom Optimizer.
Excellent. Guys, I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm back here tomorrow with Steve Simonson. So it's awesomers.com and Seller Sessions. Friday, we moved yesterday's show to Friday. We're doing COVID-19, Amazon and the recovery, bringing in Brandon Young, John Hefter and Lee Rand Hirschkorn to discuss where we are now and where we see things happening in the future. So I'll be back here again tomorrow. Stay home, stay safe, take care.